still loaded.
I get those goosebumps every time, yeah, 713 to the 281, yeah, I'm riding. Why they on me? Why they on me? I'm flying, sipping low-key. I'm sipping low-key and honest, rider. I get those goosebumps every time. I'm around, yeah. Cause I'm hard to make everything go fine. I get those goosebumps every time. I need the Heimlich, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around, when you throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time.
Up the mugs. Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. We're back again. For Loading Mag, big match preview, and it is an absolute monstrous match that we're going to talk about tonight and get all the lowdown from the opposition fans in just a second. But boys, how are you on this fine Thursday evening?
All good with me. Busy day in the office today. Rushing back. Get a few things to sort out here. But yeah, all good. Looking forward to the match. Distraction from reality. And back to the game, back to the Premier League. We need to get back to business big time there. Chris, how are you?
Sounds similar to you, Daz. I haven't been in the office today, but absolutely chock a day, mate. I had to go to the shops and I played footy. Just had my tea, just had a shower. So yeah, I'm rushed. But been looking forward to this show all day. So obviously it's great having LB and City Luke on as well. So yeah, I've been really looking forward to away days and talk all things Newcastle, Man City, and obviously getting back, as you say, Daz, getting back into the Premier League is brilliant. It feels like we haven't played for ages, doesn't it? So yeah, really looking forward to it. Pete, how are you getting on, fella?
Yeah, not too bad. Very busy day today. Work all day, parents' evening up until late evening. Just got back about 20 to 7, quick shower, and then straight on here. So non-stop today. So I'm looking forward to having a bit of a chill after this one. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, we're back.
Cobra Kai is back, Pete. I just thought of that there now after watch 5 episodes later.
That's on my to-do list. That is for sure. You've just set up my evening, Dad, after the show. So thank you very much for that one. But boys, it's going to be a big one, big game. Look, we're going to get into it because a lot riding on today, on this weekend's game. We've got the main man to discuss it from the opposition. So let's get him in. It's LB. Let's get him in and talk about it. Come on.
It is LB. Welcome, LB.
Yeah, lads. How are we doing?
All good.
Good, mate.
Good. Thanks for joining us. Look, we have to just touch on whether you want to talk about it or not. You've had some midweek exploits in the Champions League, your playoff game with Real Madrid. I have to say, before we talk about it and give your opinion, it was a proper advert for football. It was a really, really entertaining game, back and forth. It might not have felt like that to you, but it did for the neutral. But look, talk to us about it. Obviously, not the result you wanted, but not really set you up in the perfect way for this game this weekend.
Better result than I thought, to be honest. Did not have any real faith that we're going to get through this tie, and I think the tie's dead. To be honest with you, I very much doubt we're going to go to Madrid and win. So I think it's already done. Was kind of expecting us to get our asses handed to us, but that's probably one of the best we've played all season. So fair enough, but when you got players making stupid errors, like we do every single big game, you're going to lose football matches, and that's what we've done all season. So that's just a shame, man. That the decent performance ruined again by players just doing absolutely stupid things on the football pitch. So it can't be helped because the players are doing it all season, and they're obviously not learning. So it is what it is. But yeah, to be honest, like I say, even though we got beat, a bit happy because I thought I didn't think we'd stand a chance. You know what I mean? So happy days that we actually competed and we was 4 minutes away from winning. But I mean, the tie's dead in the water. We're not going to go to Madrid and win. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame. But yeah, like I say, positive is that we didn't get battered. I thought that was a possibility.
Looking at this situation with Man City going to that second leg, is it next week? Am I right in thinking?
Next week.
Next Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. So,
Yeah.
you know, not getting too much into the game right now, but do you think that could have a bearing on Saturday in terms of, you know, whether it's a good thing for Newcastle or not in terms of your team selection? Because, you know, thinking about the Champions League's massive for you guys. You have to be in it. You have to be in the latter stages. Do you think there's a chance in any way, and I'm asking you a little bit early here, that there could be changes made to the team with next Wednesday in mind?
No, I very much doubt it, to be honest with you. Newcastle is, I will get into the actual game, but now that he's got to go full strength there for Newcastle. You know, when did we play? We played, was it Tuesday we played? So, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you've had, you know, 3 days off. We don't play till Wednesday. So again, you know, what is it, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all of Wednesday to recover. There's plenty of time to recover there. You know, Foden come off the bench. He did 60 minutes. Ake got subbed off after 60 minutes. This is fine. The team that will be out there on Saturday will be a full strength 11, 100%.
Oh, okay. And you were touching on individual mistakes. You said it's been happening all season. How? Why is it happening? Like, what's the difference? Because you're a team that very rarely made mistakes, particularly under Pep Guardiola. And then all of a sudden, now in this one season, you've capitulated and made like a ridiculous amount, probably 2 or 3 seasons worth of errors in one season. What's happening? Why is it happening? And you know, what's the change?
I can't answer it, Pete. I don't know. I just think they're brain dead. Some of these players, they just do stupid stuff. I mean, I can't answer it, man. I mean, you're 4 minutes away from the end of the game. You're 2-1 up against Real Madrid at home. You played really well, and your goalkeeper, instead of just smacking it down the pitch to the 6'4" guy up top or smacking it towards the corner flag, decides to do a daisy cutter outside of the boot pass to the guy at the right back, the right winger, and kicks it straight to a striker. You tell me why he decided to do that. And then Kovacic, one of the most experienced players on the pitch for both teams in the 90th minute, instead of just kicking the ball out for a throw-in or hoofing it up in the air or whatever, decides to do a mid in the air outside of the foot volley back pass to Rico Lewis. I don't know. I can't answer it. I don't know why the players are making these errors. They're not just errors. They're stupid mistakes. We saw Akanji at Arsenal 90 seconds into the game. Yeah. He gets a pass from Stones. Probably not the best pass in the world. Get rid of it. Smack it down the pitch. Clear it. Clear your lines. And then you look at John Stones and say, what are you doing? What does he do? Tries to take it round the striker on the edge of his box within 90 seconds. 90 seconds at the Emirates. 1-0 down. We equalise. Within 30 seconds, Foden plays a mad, risky pass across the edge of our penalty area. 30 seconds after we've just equalised. I can't. Huzanov, he's only been here a day. He's been infected with this as well. I can't tell you why they're making these errors, mate. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, these errors. Because they're not just little mistakes. They're absolute clangers that you just can't explain. You can't explain them. I can't explain why Edison decided to do that. Why did he do that? Any normal person in that situation looks at the clock and goes, 4 minutes left at home, Real Madrid 2-1. We'll take this. This is going as far as I can kick it down the pitch as possible. You tell me then why he's tried to do that kick to the right back, to the right winger, instead of just launching it. I don't know, man. It's so annoying. And these players that are doing it, man, they're letting the other players down. You know, Haaland's going into the game, he scored 2 goals. He stepped up with 10 minutes to go. Huge penalty. Massive pressure on that penalty. puts it in the back of the net. He scored 2 goals and he's been let down by his teammates. Gavadio, world-class performance, let down by his teammates. Stones, world-class performance, let down. This is why it gets on my tits, yeah, is because these players are letting their teammates down by making these stupid errors. And this is why he's calling out, Mike. It's not good enough, bro.
No, you're right, and this is why I'm asking you, because like I think Chris does. We've noticed it when we're watching Man City. Like we've picked it out. It's an obvious difference in there. But like Luke, Martin, welcome in. Great to have you along with the panel as well. LB's just giving his opinion on some of the big mistakes that Man City are making, and he hasn't got an answer for it. Now, boys, I don't know if you've got an answer for it. You're City fans, you watch the games week in, week out. Why is this happening? What's so different this season from other seasons gone by?
Do you want to go, Martin, or shall I?
I can go, I don't mind.
You go first.
I just think the squad's come to an end. A lot of them, that's all. Just gone to the well too many times. You just could, we made an error. We didn't rebuild in the summer like we should have done. The club thought they were going to go it one more year, and we just pushed it too far. That's all it is. There's nothing bigger or smaller for me than that. City will be back this season's transition. We just got to take what every club goes through. Whatever club goes through. That's all we're doing for me.
I just think it's tiredness. I think, like Martin's hit the nail on the head there. Obviously, we haven't reinvested as much as we should have. I think you have had that experience as well with the injuries that you've had over the last season or so. And I think we're starting to feel the effects of that. I think, not going to, test it to injuries and say that, we are unfortunate when the injuries have come around. When one player comes back, another one straight out. There's been a chop and change in terms of the lineups here and there and everywhere. But I think it's just individual moments that have cost us in games. And I think the Madrid one is an eye-opener because there's individual areas that you look at and you just think any other time, if the mentality is right, they don't do that. And it's probably been a compound of several scenarios over this season where they're just like, we're burnt out, we've gone again for another year and we probably haven't been able to. And players are looking tired. But I don't think it's just physically. I think it's mentally as well. I think the legs have gone and then therefore the mind is going. If the legs were there, the mind probably wouldn't be as bad as it is. But I think the legs have just too far gone where it's now affecting the mentality of some players.
Boys, from a Newcastle point of view, what have you made of Man City just in general this season? Because it has been a noticeable drop-off. I mean, I'm looking at the league table and we've had moments where we've dropped points where we feel we should have picked up this season, and we're sitting on exactly the same points as Man City, same goal difference. We're going into this game neck and neck. Like, we would have never thought that 6, 7, 8 weeks ago. Why is it that Man City are in that position right now?
Like I said, just go on, Daz. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, no. Why? I think Martin is on the right path there, but that they kind of put off spending in a way, I suppose, kind of refreshing the squad a bit, and it's come back to bite them. But do you think now? My kind of follow up question I was going to ask there is, with the spending you've done in January, do you think that's you guys more or less done for the summer?
Everybody just started, man. No, we need to do. I said before this January transfer window, this squad needs £500 million spending on it. Yeah, and people didn't like it, but it's true. We've done 175, and this squad needs another £300 million spending on it.
We can't spend anything.
We need a goalkeeper. We need a right back. We need 2 midfielders, and we might.
No, I think yous have been smart for the summer. I think we'll see yous in the summer.
I'll be honest, LB. I think we need 2 goalers. I think there'll be 2 goalers.
No, I agree. I think we will need 2
or 3 mids. I think 6, 7 will go out. Is what it is. It's just come to an end. But listen, this rest in peace on Manchester City, BS. Listen, it is what it is.
Your own peril.
They'll get giddy now, but they will see. They will see.
We'll spend 300 million in the summer because we have to spend 300 million. If we don't spend 300 million, we'll struggle again.
And that, by the way, and that will include like the likes of KDB, the club legends will go.
So you recoup some that way, yeah.
Yeah, there's no
won't be
sentimentality
recouped.
in this summer.
Won't be recouped.
There is no
wages because
Yeah.
I know there's a meeting planned to go. Diana's going to Germany to have a discussion over someone in the next few weeks.
I wonder who that is.
LB grinning away there because he knows who it is. He knows who it is.
Are you on this? I have literally no idea what you're talking about.
Well, the plan is at the minute they want to go and have a chat with Leverkusen. I think they'll throw McAtee in as a bit of a sweetener on that one. But I expect Nunes to go, Kovacic to go, Gundo to go, KDB to go, Edison to go, Ortega to go. I think they'll keep Stones and Ake.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we'll probably even buy a new centre back.
Yeah, I agree.
So you're nowhere near them. Nowhere near them.
We need we need to get rid of about 5 to 7 players, and we need a lot in the door.
I was going to say surely that can't be done in one summer. That's a monster.
It has to be done in one summer, man. Can't be keeping players.
I
was the one who said we weren't going to sign 5 players in Jan. I got Bozo to FLB for 3 weeks. And I kept saying it ain't FIFA. We ain't doing it. The club went out and did it. So they literally removed him from the first day of the window right till the last day of the window.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's what. Okay,
Could have been one more if we had the right time on Cambiasso.
Yeah.
So
what positions are you looking to sign then? Like, what are your main positions? Forget about who's going to be leaving. Who do you think the big money is going to be spent on?
We need a creator.
2 midfielders, left wing, right wing, 2 goalies.
I don't think the thing on winger. I don't necessarily think you need a winger. I would keep my powder dry on the wingers for now, because you've got Savio, you've got Doku, you've got Bob.
I'm not sure Doku's there. Come summertime.
No, I think Doku will be here next year. The
main one is staying LB.
I think if we can get a buyer, you'll let him go. He's on 300 grand a week, mate. Here's the thing, yeah. If you can let Grealish go, Bernardo go, KDB, that's best part of £1 million a week on wages.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kyle Walker, he's on 180. That's him gone. You know what I mean? So, whilst we're going to spend a lot of money, our wage bill should actually come down.
I know what I'd do. I'd sell Grealish back to Villa. And
I can see him go back to Villa.
I would have a cheeky dabble at Morgan Rogers.
Oh.
Well, to be fair, there's lots of question marks about Villa and their PSR stance anyway.
That's what I mean. Villa do turn over players at the minute. They're turning it over like.
Well, they let one of their best players go last season, Douglas Luiz. So I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities, is it? So
and we will need homegrown players.
I've got a feeling, boys. I've got a feeling we're gonna be the 2 main teams. And Daz, Chris, you come in this because I've had this theory before with Newcastle, but I actually think from what you're saying, you could well be in that market, and a player like Rodgers could well be in that conversation, because I think we'll be the 2 teams that most journalists will be talking about in June, because we'll both have money to be able to spend and take advantage of those clubs that have got PSR issues, because there will be, regardless of whether they're talking about it now, there will be clubs that have got PSR issues come June. And I think with both teams that have currently got money that we can go and spend, because we've recouped enough money to go and spend and buy at least a player from January, and we didn't sign anybody. So we've got money to spend. You've clearly got money to spend. Could well be an interesting situation, Dan.
Yeah, and the following year as well, we'll have the same thing, because PSR is here to stay. Here for another year, with the SCR kicked down the road for another year, as we were just talking about before the show. Thanks to Man City, that is, because the APT2 and the fall to see what becomes of that. But Is that a good thing or a bad thing for us, lads? It means that we don't have the wages issue isn't as big of a concern under the SCR thing. So and because we have cleared the decks a bit to allow us to spend in either before June or before the end of June, or into into the summer window, it might be better. I don't know, especially if we're in Europe.
I think from what it says is that a few people have mentioned that it could be better for Newcastle because there's that, is it 70% that you've got to hit if you're in
cost
Europe.
ratio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because of that, it will be slightly better the fact that that's not implemented, and we are expected to hopefully be in European football of some form by the end of the season, surely. But it puts an interesting spin on it. But like Chris, what's your opinion on it? Both on Man City, because that turnaround does look. These boys are confident that turnaround can be done in the summer. I'm not quite sure, but do you think it can be done? And do you think we'll be both shopping in that June window?
I firmly believe it can be done. I think if anyone can do it, it's Pep Guardiola and it's Man City. So I would never write either City or Pep off. It won't be easy, and there will be a transition period, obviously. But I also, like the boys were saying, City were linked with all these players in January. I was thinking, well, we're not going to bring them in, and then it was just like bang, 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 and they were top quality signings as well. We're not just talking about average players here or squad fillers, really big impact players on this first 11. So I think the summer's going to be huge. I think it'll be ourselves, City, and probably Liverpool who will be active. I think in this summer window. In terms of City, do you know what? It's been such a weird season. It's been a weird season in general, hasn't it, for all fans apart from Liverpool fans? It's been a weird season for everyone, and I think I kind of lost a little bit of hope with City for this season a few weeks back because I kept watching them and I was thinking, they're going to turn it around now. They're going to turn it around. They're going to turn it around. And then obviously we were talking earlier about the Real Madrid game, and I thought City are back. Like, because Real Madrid are no slouches, you know what I mean? One of the most successful teams ever in Europe. And City turned up and give them a really good game. But it was LB talking before about them silly mistakes. And I think where City are at the moment, I think it's just been a combination of things. And unfortunately, they've all come at the same time. So it's players aging. It's players not being able to go to the well anymore, in terms of like being mentally fatigued. And then also, again, what LB said earlier, it's the mistakes. And if you combine those three things, I think that's why it's just fell apart for them recently. But they can bounce back. I think they just need a little bit of confidence. And when these new players come in and are integrated and they're in the first 11 week in, week out, I think we'll start seeing a difference. What I wanted to ask the boys was, do you think there's going to be any different approach with Pep? Because in recent seasons, Pep is a fantasy football manager's nightmare because he's always rotating and etc. Do you think when he brings these players in now, do you think he'll start like getting them settled and have a more steady 11 just in order to integrate them quicker? Or do you think he's just going to bring loads in and then it'll just be mix and match as and when?
Well, I think he's going to need to rotate. He's always rotated. Pep, he's always rotated. So I think we'll bring in the 5 to 7 players, whatever it's going to be. I don't know how many players we're going to bring in, but we'll bring in the players. And I think a lot of them will be rotated in. The midfielders will be rotated. Yeah, I don't think there'll be much change. I think stylistically, he's probably going back towards the Centurion style of pacey wingers rather than the treble ultimate control. But I don't think he'll change his base philosophy. I think he'll stick with just rotating. He's always rotated at City, hasn't he, lads? Like, he's always rotated.
Yeah,
he's kept like a core group in, usually. He's maybe like a spine or whatever, but then everyone else.
The only guarantee is Bernardo Silva. He's the only one who's guaranteed they'll ever start.
Yeah, somehow Bernardo will always get into
his stepson. He's either his stepson, he's got something going on with him. Bernardo Silva can drop 15 bozos in a game and he's still starting the next one.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it.
Definitely got something over Pep.
That's what I mean, though, is boys. And yeah, I know what you mean about Bernardo. Bernardo always seems to start, but because you had those stalwarts, so you had your Kyle Walkers, you had your Kevin De Bruyne's, and these are lads that you're talking about moving on. Is that gonna make him think, oh, I haven't got the steady Ezzies anymore? I've now got the new right back, and I look at the likes of Rico Lewis, and I look some others who are on the fringe and maybe coming into the team a bit
No,
more.
not good
And
enough.
it just doesn't feel like he's trusting them.
Chris.
Yeah, he's not
Big
trusting them.
No.
Not good enough.
Not
Listen,
physical enough.
if you're going to do this rebuild, you've got to be ruthless and you've got to be cruel to be kind. I'm not doing this because they're out the academy. I'm going to model coddle them in because they're Radcliffe born, and here we go. You have got to be good enough to be in this Manchester City side.
That's right.
If you are not, listen, Rico Lewis would be a very good squad player. My issue with Rico Lewis is I don't know if he's a right back, a CDM, a number 8, a number 10. I don't know what the hell he is at the moment. And for some reason, Pep hung him out to dry on Tuesday night. Absolutely hung him out to dry. And I felt for the poor lad. He got left to be killed by Mbappe and Vinny Jr. You watch what Real Madrid did. Real Madrid stopped. They ignored Gavardio. They literally just ignored Gavardio. That's why Gavardio was having pot shots from the edge of, having shots because he had no one touching him. They were all going down Rico's side.
But we've seen that quite a lot this season. Like, we've seen it against Crystal Palace away when he played left back. It was just pinned to him. And I think teams just use that to their advantage because he's not strong enough. I think he just gets absolutely battered off the ball wherever he plays. But I think, like Martin said, he is a luxury player. I think he looked a lot better when we had Rodri in the side because he can be covered by Rodri. But I think, therefore, when he's been exposed without Rodri, we've struggled. And I think you saying there about the stalwarts, kind of the KDB, the Kyle Walker, I think we're going to sign marquee signings to replace these people. I think the likes of the Cambiasso, Martin mentioned earlier, potentially a Florian Wirtz. I think you're going to see these ones who are going to be the ones that are instantly pulled in. But then you will see some that I think the rest of this season for me with the signings that we've made is going to be integrating them in for the next 6 months. And then we see where they are. Like, for example, Nico Gonzalez looked good for me against Leyton Orient in patches before, obviously, the injury and, the cock up to the goal. I think we've seen qualities in him that reminded me of Rodri, kind of the, ping pass into Savinho. And I think there is qualities of these players that there is going to be potential starters within these, but we just have to wait and see what comes of the summer and who are these marquee signings. And it's an exciting time, to be honest, because the old guard is moving, Shicky's moving on, and we've got a new sporting director where I feel like sentimentality is not going to come into play. Maybe it will when his players come in. That might be the turning point when the signings that he makes, the sentimentality comes back. But I think we've got a new mindset with a new sporting director of these players were Shicky's players and beforehand. But now we're looking at it that it's a new era at Man City. And I think we just have to adapt. We've got players like Echeverry coming back from the Under-20s World Cup. He is going to be a special player.
He does look good, to be fair.
That's the thing. We've got players that are unknown quantities to us at the minute. We can all watch him and say what a world-class player he's going to be. Yeah. But I think it's just refreshing to finally see that there's questions being asked of City. And this is where Pep makes his bread, because we're going to see players now that could be the new ones that we look up to, like the Kevin De Bruynes, like the, Fernandinhos of the past. These are the players now that we're going to look to be like, right, we need to continue this legacy, and you're the person to do it.
Yeah. Do you know what I just said, Chris? Basically, where I'm coming from is last time we did a proper rebuild and we spent money. The following season was Centurions. Pep doesn't know how to do a rebuild. This is when we did the Kyle Walker, the Edison, the Bernardo Silva, etc. All walked in the door. Benjamin Mendes. They all come in. We were told we were spending £50 million fullbacks for fun. We were just throwing around 50 million quid.
Well, that didn't end well with a £50 million fullback on one half anyway.
we went and did Centurions and we were playing. I think Pep's this season for me is just get to where we need to go. Get top 4 or 5. Hopefully get an FA Cup. Give it our best next week.
You can have Carabao. We've given that up this year again.
Personally, today, I still think we've got a small chance.
No choice.
Yeah.
Very, very.
To be fair, I think most, if not all, Newcastle fans would shake on that. If you ended up getting the FA Cup and we got the Carabao, I think
would you sacrifice top 4 for it?
Yeah, we'll take 5th.
Good, yeah.
Champions League spot as well. Deal.
Quick thing there, Daz. Too quick.
It's a good question though.
Yeah, it is.
Would we people in the chat as well? Would we sacrifice Champions League, let's say, for a trophy?
Yeah.
Oh, you'll
come
get some
on.
mint away
I think
days
we've
in
got
the
to,
Europa
mate.
though.
I think we've got to.
You gotta go for trophies, man.
Damn,
We'll throw in a sweetener. We'll give you the
Don't
Champions
become
League this season.
Arsenal. Don't become Arsenal FC.
Nah,
Doing
never.
this.
Well, the Tottenham are just as bad. But Tottenham is scared
They're
of
not.
trophies.
They're
They don't want it.
really not.
No,
Arsenal. They're a different
I'm sorry.
breed.
What, you think
I never
Arsenal
liked
would-
Liverpool, but I'm at a point this season where I will happily accept them to run away with the league because I cannot have Arsenal doing it.
Yeah,
Every fibre of my being cannot stand them.
I think you know what. There's so many fans of other clubs now that have started a real hatred for Arsenal fans this season. Just the way they've gone on about decisions.
Like, I think Newcastle for me is one of them clubs that I could never hate because of where I'm from. I know me and you, Peter, spoke about it on many, many occasions privately, and I've give you a lot of kudos. But the more and more you start winning stuff, that might change.
Yeah.
Well, there's a comment here from Lisa, and she goes, LB's watch-alongs are the best. However, when Newcastle beat Arsenal, he referred to Newcastle as we. You a Toon fan, LB, now?
I do. I love. I'm obsessed with your midfield. I'd buy your whole midfield if I could. I think it's the best midfield in the league. I've said it for some time. I think it's unbelievable midfield. That Joe Linton, I think he's one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. I could not believe it. I only found out like a week ago that Tonali's only 24.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, mate.
I thought it was like 29, 30, 31. I seen his age. I was like, what the frick? Why
How
did
much
no
did
one
you pay
else?
for him as well? Was it 40 million?
No, 55. I think
He's
it
class. And then
Still a
obviously
steal.
Bruno is just a brilliant player as well. So, and then you've got Isak up top. You've got Gordon, who has developed mad since he left. I never used to rate Gordon at all when he was at Everton. I thought he was just like a proper boring guy.
I didn't.
But he's since he's gone to Newcastle, he's just gone up levels. Murphy, another player that when you first watch him, you think, how the fuck is this guy playing for Newcastle? And then you watch him again, and you watch him again, and you watch him again, and you're like, this guy's good player. You know what I mean? Never stops running. He's got quality now and again. I don't know, like you guys might be
But
like,
that was
I
Miggy
might
for
give
so many years. He just reminds me of Almiron.
It really was.
I just
No,
think
but Almiron just ran
Miggy's
around as well.
production- Miggy will run all day for you, as LB's said. But like, boys, that's Chris. You know, his production in the final third was never there for Miggy.
Hey, he got you that moment against PSG though, man. So that's all you've got to give him props for.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I just
memory
think
to
if you get a couple new players in the summer, I'd go for first team. I won't be going for these rotation options. Go for some big players.
No.
There's no reason for me. Like, I can't even lie. Like, I think you've underperformed this year. I look at the team that you've got. I think you should be easily in that top four. I think you should be challenging for the title. I don't see why not. Look at your starting 11. I'm like, why are you not in a title race? This is why I think that in the next year or 18 months, I think if Eddie doesn't get this team like doing better than it is, I think he'll come under pressure. Because I look at that starting 11, I think, why is that not in a title race?
Well, you know what's frustrating about it? Obviously, we went the 9 games winning in a row from sort of mid-December time. But the frustration about it, and we've talked about it on our channel, is the games that we haven't won. The Fulham's at home, the Bournemouth's
That
at
was a
home,
stinker. That.
the West Ham at home. Like these games, we should have been picking up points. Brighton at home. Brighton was shocking that day.
They're awful.
I'm still angry at that now. Brighton and West Ham are the games I'm still absolutely fuming about because both of those teams were absolutely shocking. They didn't even play well and they didn't have to win, but we didn't turn up.
Do you think it is because though the only thing I see with you, because if your starting 11 is fit, that like LB said, it is probably one of the best in the league. But I think, do you think you get derailed a little bit when you've got one or two here or there out? Like when I've noticed when Dan Burns out, for example, or say Livramento's out, I feel like one or two players when they switch over, it just kind of derails it a lot.
Do you know what, mate? I think it's a good point. I think
like when Joel
you know,
Linton's been out, sometimes you've derailed because you haven't got that energy in midfield. Obviously, with the other two, you do. But when them three are together, like LB said, it probably is the best midfield in the Premier League, if not the best, one of them. But I feel like when you lose one or two components of that team, something just doesn't click. And it's like, I just can't understand it for some reason. You know, like one player out, we've got Rodri out for the full fucking season, and we've completely derailed.
Yeah, I think it's squad depth, mate. And we've spoken. Well, you mentioned about bringing in two, well, hopefully three, but you know, at least two first team players. And I think there's certain players in this squad, particularly the starting 11, where brilliant. But if you brought in an even higher quality of player, and
like
then
a
that
goalkeeper.
player went on the bench, oh mate, goalkeeper, 100%.
You gotta go and get a goalkeeper, aren't you? A world-class goalkeeper.
Yeah, world-class goalkeeper, world-class right winger, and you could argue we need another centre back. We need a centre back to replace Fabian Schär, because long term, you know, he's 33, he's not getting any younger. He's been brilliant, but if you had Jacob Murphy on the bench. Mate, if you had Jacob Murphy on the bench, you had Fabian Schär on the bench, and you had someone like Dubravka, Pope on the bench, all of a sudden your bench is improving. And then look what you've got in the 11.
Yeah, I agree. I honestly think, like, I think you've underperformed. I really do. I think you've done good, obviously, what you're like 5th or 6th or whatever, but I just think that team, like, I honestly just think if Pep had that team, mate, I think he'd be in a title race. And obviously, I'm not saying like that, not Pep, Eddie Howe, but I just think Eddie Howe now is at that point where he's got to start delivering. Now, if he gets that trophy this year, that's huge. That's huge. But ultimately, that league position does need to go up, you know?
Depending on the player, if we can kind of cope with one player out, but two, and we're kind of fall away. But at the start of our season, we're winning games, but we're playing so poorly, and then we got into losing games, and we went to that. So that's why we're not up as high as we potentially should be.
I think you can sign a centre back where you can find a partner for Sven Botman when he comes back fit, and you can create a partnership like we have with Stones and Diaz. I think you've got an incredible side there. It's just finding the long-term replacement to be with Sven.
They could buy Juma Bar off us, Luke.
They'll
buy Juma Bar off us, mate.
They're already after our targets.
Yeah, you tried with Kasanov and it didn't work.
Didn't have you, Chevalier.
No, but I think
double the price.
I think the one that is the eye opener is Mark Gay. We're in for him in the summer. He's tried again in January, reportedly. And I think that is the kind of signing where if you do pull that off with Sven Botman, that is an incredible centre-back partnership.
It's good that.
You know, there's other players that I think would be on the fringes, you know, like Joachim Andersen from Fulham, I think is another incredible player, potentially.
He's nearly 30, though.
But he's getting on. But what I mean is if you can find kind of the depth with players like that, then that increases your bench tenfold as well. But I think you have to start now looking. I think you are in the moment now where we kind of were with Mancini's first season. I think now it's kind of you at a point where you've got the players in and you've spent a bit. Now it's at a point where you are impressing a lot of people. But I think now it's a moment where this summer is potentially the one where you've got to go for it.
Yeah. I don't get that spending restrictions. Man. I thought it was really good for England in the Euros. He's only got a year left on his contract in the summer, so I don't think you'll be spending like crazy money on him. And he's only 24. He's already been pretty experienced.
Like you've got Zabani from Bournemouth.
He's quality. David Tofield just put in the chat about Dean Huijsen. I mean, we were talking about him on the channel all summer.
He's going to be big.
I watched him when he was on loan at Roma last season, and he was quality. And you know, we could have had him for 12, 15 million then. I think if we'd have had Paul Mitchell then, I think we'd have signed him in the summer. Yeah. He's a Paul Mitchell signing all day long. And this is the thing. I know you mentioned, LB, about getting those first team players to come in. And I think we will get those first team players, but I don't think they're going to be these top European star players.
No, but Gueye is a brilliant signing. Mark Gueye would be a brilliant signing.
If Liverpool start getting involved in a match,
and that's the thing, Martin.
Well, I've spoken to Liverpool fans, and they think they're better than him. So they don't want him, don't get him. I think he's mint.
I think
Well,
the
tell him
biggest
he'll find
signing-
it.
I would take Mark Gay all day long. And I think when we thought we were going to get him, boys, in the summer, I think we were all partly a little bit excited about getting that level of player. And I think he'll be cheaper, a lot cheaper in the summer than he was last summer.
Yeah.
But it's the bit that Martin's just said, and that's the thing that I'm worried about, is when you have these ready-made players to come in, and you then have a Liverpool, and apparently Tottenham bidded 75 million at the end of the window to try and get him. Whether that was
don't believe that.
or
Don't
not,
believe
But you're not going to go
Just
Tottenham
that
over
thing.
Newcastle anyway, are you?
No, I don't think you would.
Cushion off, Pete. You know that you did all the donkey with cushion off, and we waltzed in and went, see ya.
But you offered money that we were never going to be able to offer. We were at the table at 25 million, and we would have probably paid that. But when you came
I
in,
think Lawns played a bidding war on that, though, to be fair. I think
Yeah.
they just wanted the price to go
Why
up.
not? For them.
we were never going to get into a bidding war for Juma.
I think the biggest signing
Never
you can
gonna
make
get to
this summer, though,
as well.
is keeping Isak. You keep Isak,
Okay.
sorry. Yeah, I think if you can keep him, that's your biggest signing, because
Do you
there's
think
going to be clubs sniff. Yes.
Because we've had
100%.
we've had the media, we've had every Arsenal fan channel going, talking like they've already got.
Well, Arsenal put a bid in for Ollie Watkins just to sheerly appease the fans. I do not believe that for a second that was going to come to fruition.
No one can afford Isak, man. Like, let's
No,
be
you
honest.
can't.
Yeah,
You
no
can't.
one's gonna. You're not gonna sell him for anything less than 150 million quid. So no one's gonna buy that. So he's your player, mint. If I was Isak, I'd just show. I've already had this conversation on a different time. I said, if I was Isak, I won't sign a new contract. I'd just wait. He's got 3 years left on his deal. I'd wait it out. Lewandowski's just signed a new contract, I think, till 2026. So that's potentially a Barca option there. Kane's obviously getting on at Bayern Munich. I'd just wait and see what happens. There's no rush, in my opinion, for Isak to sign a new contract on his behalf. Newcastle ain't going to sell him. I wouldn't be rushing to, like, people are making it out like going to Arsenal is like the be-all and end-all. Like, bro, this is a team that's not won anything in the last 4 or 5 years. Yeah, Newcastle have been in two finals in the last 3 years. Arsenal have been in none. So why everyone just assumes that Isak would jump at the opportunity to go to Arsenal is, in my opinion, bizarre. Then people start talking about Liverpool. Well, yeah, the Liverpool team now looks quite attractive to go to, but no one knows what's going to happen in the summer. What about if they all leave? The 3 lads who are going to leave. If Salah, Van Dijk, and Trent all of a sudden leave, then I'm telling you now that team does not look very attractive to go to. So, like I say, if it was me, if I was Isak, I'd just wait it out a year. You know, he'd have 2 years left of his contract at the end of next season, and then see where Newcastle are at. If Newcastle ain't making progress, if they're not investing like they should be doing, you know, maybe Bruno gets off or, you know, whatever, then maybe he'll go, right, this project ain't really moving forward. I'm going to leave. He could go Barca. He could go Bayern Munich. But why would he leave now to go to Arsenal? I just don't personally see why you do that. And Arsenal not going to pay 150 million anyway. So this is just run by the media, man. You know what the media's like, man. They just make stuff up all the time because they want stuff to put on the TV programs. Because the problem is, yeah, that TV program, Sky Sports News, yeah, it runs 24 hours a day. So they need stuff to fill it with. Yeah, so what they do is, bro, it's just stupid, mate.
Unless
yeah?
he wants
like,
to
shout out
become
Pete, yeah,
150.
like Pete's going on there and it, you know what I mean, giving them some content and that. But that's what they do, bro. That's what they do. That's why they got the referee
Break my
show.
flow, man.
They got no. You was one of the best things on the program that day, Pete. You was the best thing. That's the truth, man. That's why they got the ref watch on
the
there,
several
mate.
wobblers that were on there that day, Pete. You were the top one.
You were the best one. You was the best one, mate.
Let's get Martin's opinion on Isak, because I know Martin has to head in a sec. But do you think he's going to stay, Martin? What's your thoughts?
I do think you're going to need Champions League football to keep him. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not sure he'll go. Maybe he will. I don't know. It will depend on what ambitions your board's going to show in the summer. I think Champions League is probably a big thing for him. I do think someone will bid in the summer for him. I wouldn't be like Chelsea.
Does someone? Yeah, Chelsea are the ones that I'd be worried about.
I'll be honest with you. I
would
know
spend
there's only 150 mil. When a club gets shown cold hard cash, I'm not sure it would be 150 mil.
But it's what Newcastle's aspirations are.
If Chelsea walked up and went 820 mil cash, any club's thinking about that. Someone
Yeah,
was went 130 mil for Rodri. We're having a discussion whether we like to think that or not.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah, good point.
I don't think we sell for 120. I don't think I genuinely don't.
Yeah, but Pete, you can count
The club
count on one hand how many players have gone for that kind of money.
exactly, but this is the
Not
point.
Neymar and Mbappe levels. I know that's what you
But
want. But it's not.
but Mbappe was like 200 million. We're not saying that. We're saying 150.
180.
Oh, come on, it's not £50 million less, Pete. Well, no,
199.
to you, but in the open, to you he is. I get it. To a fan, but when that money is shown proper cold hard cash, it's very different then.
And
But
the thing is,
that's what I'm referring to with the kind of Newcastle's mentality. If they feel like they're going to push on and kind of compete now, this is where they have to hold their own and go, we're not selling. And we'll buy players and we'll hold our resolve against these other clubs who are going to come sniffing. But then that's where you see what the mentality of the club is.
Yeah,
Because if they sell at the first sign of Isak having an offer from elsewhere, that says a lot about where you potentially go.
The problem they've got, Luke, though, if he sat there and knocked on the door and says, I want to go to Chelsea.
Yeah, but that's completely different in my eyes. I think it's more if the club get the offer and they go, yeah, we'll sell, then I understand that. That's the club.
Yeah, but you know how it works. Usually the clubs go to the player.
Yeah, there will be somebody in his ear
The
before
thing
they
is as well,
get an offer.
that I would say, right, say you did get like 120 or 130, right? Just go and slap that 60 million and get Gyökeres.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It then becomes 5 times bigger. So then you're off to whatever you want at that point. I know it's hard right now. I know he's sort of going, he's not going for this, but, you say no to 120, and he's been offered 300 grand a week at Chelsea, for example, there will then be a conversation of you might go up his wage to a silly amount.
But then what a release clause.
Then it knocks down to Bruno. Then it knocks down to God. And this is the problem. It's not just become one, because we've had all this. It becomes a rolling cycle, and you have to start offering wages to players.
Most players see the bigger picture when there's a big outgoing.
£5,000 a week. It shouldn't have been on 50. He was on 155 grand a week.
No, there's merit in what you're saying, guys, for sure.
I don't think in terms
of the way knock on. Right, that'll be.
Martin, I know you need to shoot because you've got your live in a second. I just want to get your early match prediction. What do you think it's going to be on Saturday?
Be a tough game, but I think we'll win 3-1 because I think I'm hoping he does play some of the new guys. We'll know more tomorrow. I'm hoping it'll be Nico Gonzalez. It'd be nice to see him, I think. Kushinov will play. I think he's got to at right back. I don't think. See, I'm expecting all the new ones, Mamouche even.
Yeah.
But, I do think you'll give us a tough game. I'd be interested to see your players' mentality. I know the final's 4 weeks away. But you know how players are.
Yeah.
You know how players get, because remember the last time you got to a cup final, your form just went off the cliff. Because I know subconsciously you don't want it to happen, but players do start thinking about that final.
Yeah.
And now it's Liverpool. You need everyone all guns blazing, and here we go. So it's going to be intriguing one. I think it'll be very, very hard, but I think home advantage will just take over.
Right, fella, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Wish you all the best in the final, and hope you beat Liverpool.
Cheers, Martin.
Hopefully, mate. Hopefully.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Just want to,
Martin on. Go on. Sorry, Des.
Yeah, I just want to, because we'll zoom past again. Just want to give a shout out to the chat to Novo, who gifted 10 memberships. Thanks, Novo, and the chatters are delighted as well. They picked up that membership. LB 1998. City get an extra transfer window as well in the Club World Cup.
Did you guys know that?
No.
Yeah, we get an extra. Is it 10 days, Luke? What is it? It's like 10 days, 2-week transfer window before the Club World Cup. We can buy players.
Yeah, you'll get another couple in
from like the end of May, potentially, the beginning of June. But I think we can only from what I've read into, I think it's only clubs that are involved in the Club World Cup potentially.
No, I don't think it is. It's not. It's you can buy anyone. You can buy anyone.
Are you sure? Because I'm sure
yeah.
I was reading it that we can't have outgoings to clubs that are.
No, you can't have outgoings because their transfer window for them is it's basically like, you know, like if our transfer window's closed but the Saudi one's open, they can still buy our players. So we're allowed to register players. We can buy players and register them from anywhere. So we can.
I just find it odd how it's going to work for.
So it's almost like to heighten the profile of the club.
Yeah, they're authorizing, I think, marquee signings to get these players over to America. But in terms of the books, I don't know how it's going to work. That's my work head talking there, but I don't know whether they're just going to put it on for the previous season or it's going to be for the new PSR season. It'll be interesting to see how they cook the books for that, to be honest. I'll be quite
He's got a shot in that. That's who he's suggesting.
I mean, Frankie, too injury prone. If I'd have had the Ajax Frankie de Jong, then 100%.
I'll take the rest.
Yeah.
From Inter, that's not a bad shout.
Bastoni.
Going big on Bastoni. He's quality. He is top.
Is he the centre back?
But he's more of a back three centre half. I know we play back three tending to with one inverting, but the role that he has for Inter Milan is. I'd love to see how it integrates into City, but I think he's very Serie A orientated. I think but he is a good player, but I think the role that he has would not be the same for City.
I think the last two on that list to keep your eye out on, Wirtz and Rodrigo, because Rodrigo, there's been rumours for about 18 months now that he ain't, he'd be open to a move. He always glazes City whenever anyone asks about him. He's always like, he said we're the best club in the world a couple of years ago. And Wirtz, obviously, he's not going to be staying at Leverkusen forever, but I've been told that he doesn't want to move to City, so we'll see.
I just think the Wirtz one has a catalyst of incidences with it. I think if Wirtz more than inevitably leaves Bayer Leverkusen, I think it's this year, if Xabi Alonso goes to Madrid, I think you see him follow. But then I think you see some outgoings potentially from Real Madrid where they could be an option, i.e. the Rodrigo one.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to see who would be omitted out of that midfield. Obviously, you've got Arda Güler, who probably would be sold.
So many good players, aren't they?
But you've got potentially Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Federico Valverde. I know Federico Valverde's got an obscene 1 billion release clause, which every player in Spain has to have a release clause.
He's captain now, though.
It is. So, but Rodrigo could be one, but it's where Florian Wirtz is going to play. That's the...
And they're desperate not to sell him to Bayern as well. So, but like I said, I've been told he don't want to come to City, so we'll see what he does, man.
I think it all proceeds on where Xabi Alonso goes for me.
The Rodrigo one is interesting though, because I saw the quotes from him as well, and he doesn't like dismiss it, does he? He doesn't say I'm not leaving. I love Real Madrid. Blah blah blah. He was very cagey over it, and it's almost like
I think he did in the summer. I think he tried to squash rumours in the summer and say that he was happy at Real Madrid. But players say that all the time. But I think it's not a position we desperately need, like we said at the start. But it's a no-brainer if you're getting somebody of Rodrigo. Look what he's done to us over the last couple of seasons. He's an incredible player. But it's just whether then does that halt the development of players like Oscar Bob, Claudio Echeverri? Because potentially, where does he play?
Rodrigo, he's going to want to be a first-team player because I think that's the reason why he wants to leave Real Madrid, because he's not regularly playing. He's coming off the bench now and again. He's playing the odd game, but like Mbappe coming in along with who's the other guy?
Vinny
Jr. Who is he? Of course I know who he is. But yeah, with those guys, they're the main guys, and he's almost a big part player. If he's going to come to City, he's going to want to know that he's the main.
He will be. He'll come to City. He'll play every time. But on I've been saying this on my channel about it. People always say that, like, oh, but what happens to Bob? What happens to this guy? It's like, if they're good enough, they'll find a way in the team. Like, it's up to them to find a way into the team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how it is. Like, you buy the best player, and if you've got a player coming through, if he's good enough, he'll get his way in the team. And Bob is a great player. So if he keeps developing as before he snaps his leg. He'll find a way in the team. Echeverry's the one, man. Oh my God, this guy's unbelievable, man. Like, I've been following him for a while since we bought him from River Plate. Watched him a bit at River Plate. I watched every Argentina game in this tournament. I'm watching another one tonight, 1 a.m. Brazil. We will be there. Yes, we will be watching Argentina versus Brazil at 2:30 in the morning. But he has been the player of the tournament by a country mile. He is absolutely unbelievable. He never stops running. He's exactly what this City team needs. Just a bundle of energy, quality with the ball, scores goals, creates goals. I think he's mint. Honestly, if I had him this weekend, I'd start him. Not even joking. I'd start him in that
I think he's due in the next 2 weeks.
Well, the tournament ends on Sunday, so
yeah,
he'll probably say to him, "Have like 4, 5, 6 days, maybe a week, because it's been a mad." Like, they play every 2 days.
Plymouth will be the one. Plymouth at home.
But yeah, Plymouth. I
that could be a season definer. That could getting him back then with how good he's been.
I thought you were on about Plymouth at home there. I was like,
we have fun.
The way our season's going.
Back in the good old days.
In terms of upturn the form, that could be the difference. 100%. But look, boys, I just want to run through some final things, go through the tactics board. I think there might be a couple of questions, then we'll wrap up with predictions. So, look, boys, Man City go first. What's your lineups? What's your lineup looking like?
Go on, Luke. You kick us off. I'll shout out if I disagree.
Edison.
Oh yeah, bozos. We're not having particularly good time.
They're both as bad as each other at the minute.
You know what's mad, right? 12 months ago, we were like, these two goalkeepers are unbelievable. We were so happy with both of them, and now we're like, Edison don't want to be here. Ortega's not stepping up to the plate, and it's kind of like, hell, have we gone from having 2 mint goalkeepers to having 2 that's probably, as Martin said, they're both probably going to leave in the summer.
Just roll back the years and get Carson in, man. Come on.
Yeah, why not? Fellow Geordie lad, isn't he? So, well, no, he's Cumbria, isn't he? So, yeah, he's of that wet neck of the woods. He's near my neck of the woods, so I can't say anything bad about Scott Carson. I love the man. Going to go a bit controversial. Obviously, Akanji's out what we thought was for the season, but it's now turning out to be a few weeks from what I'm seeing. So, obviously, he's omitted, but I do think right back, I'm going to say I think it's going to be Kasanov. I think he's going to get thrown in there.
I don't. I think it'll be Nunes. I think he'll go Nunes. He can't go Rico because Rico is literally like doesn't.
No, Rico's getting tortured by.
By the way, is Gordon injured for this game?
No,
we don't know.
He's been training. Yeah. He was pictured yesterday in training. So,
right, so you can't go Rico Lewis then if he's playing. So it has to be Nunes or Kuzanov. I think he'll go Nunes.
And then my centre backs, Ruben Diaz, Nathan Ake.
Okay.
Left back is the Rolls Royce, Vardiol. Probably being one of our best players this season.
Boys, why is John Stones in and out the team all the time?
Injury.
Can't stay his injury record, bro. His injury record.
I worked it out. Over the seasons that he's been with us, he has played on average 29 games a season. Now, for a top-tier centre-back, you're looking at least 40, 50.
Yeah.
Just hasn't got it injury-wise. He's an incredible player. On his day, I think he's one of the best centre-backs in the world. But his legs just don't allow him to be that centre-back. But he is going to go holding midfield for me. I'm going to go controversial. I think the way he played on Tuesday night, I think he has to be there again. But this is where... Do you want to give me a hand, LB? Because I'm...
No, I want to see where you're going with this, man. I want to see where you're going.
I think it's going to be Nico. If Nico's fit, it's Nico.
He's down as being injured.
Nah.
Yeah, he was training. He did the open training on Monday, but he looked in big discomfort every time he touched the ball. So whether or not he's had another week to recover.
And he needs to play against Real Madrid. So he has to play this game.
Okay.
The other centre mid, I think it's Bernardo. It's mad we'll just get in any squad for Pep.
Where's he going? Is he going more on the right, or is it going to be like? Is it going to be like this? Is it going to be like that? How are you setting it up?
I think it's kind of how you just had it. So I think Stones will be the deeper one with Gonzalez just sitting in front, and then I think Bernardo's that. But again, could be Foden. But I think Foden's going to be on the right.
Okay.
And then it'll be Savinho and Erling Haaland.
Right.
So
you in agreement?
No, I did not expect the mid. I mean, to be fair, Luke sort of suggested that it's Pep's going to do it. I wouldn't be playing Bernardo there. I kind of want to see John Stones at centre back, but because our midfield is so bad, I kind of agree with Luke that I'd go John Stones, Gonzalez in the middle. Although I really don't like playing John Stones in the middle because I want to play him at centre half.
I just think you need that protection against this.
Yeah,
midfield.
I unfortunately agree. I don't like it, but I agree because it's that bad. I'd play Foden in the middle, and I'd play Doku, Savio on the wings, potentially Marmoush. I don't know, but basically I'd play Foden in the middle. And drop. I mean, you
can give us 12 feet if you want. That'll give us no advantage.
Because if you remember the game, was it last year at home when we beat you 1-0? Or was it the year before?
No, it was last year.
I think it was the first game of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was
last year
kickoff.
we played Rodri and Kovacic as a double pivot, and we give Phil Foden the free roll in the midfield. And Phil Foden was one of the best players on the pitch that night. So I'd set it up in a similar way. Yeah. Just give those front four players the protection and just say, if you lose the ball, we've got John Stones and Gonzalez behind, and we've got that back four.
I think the only thing for me is if you have Jeremy Doku and Savinho, the only thing that you're risking. I know Livramento and Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall tends to get up a little bit. Livramento is more your kind of solid fullback, which is what I love about him. But I just think if you're playing them two on the wings, you run yourself exposed at tracking back. Mm. But this is where I'd probably have like the likes of Doku and say Marmoush as impact players for this game, because Marmoush, the amount of space he creates is scary. We've seen it in patches against Real Madrid. He didn't get much opportunity to do so, but the game against Chelsea just convinced me that he is the one for the future, because the amount of pockets of space that he picked up, like Phil does, I think we need that in the late moments of a game, especially if you've got tiring players in the likes of Dan Burn and Fabian Schär who are going to be running around ragged.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting team. Wasn't the team that I was expecting it to be. I'm going to be honest with you, boys. But let's see how it matches up with the Newcastle team, boys. What we're going for, obviously, we're waiting on news with regards to Botman, waiting on news with regards to Dan Burn. We know that Gordon's in training, so likely to be okay. No other concerns other than that, I don't believe. Everyone else that was playing against Birmingham has been pictured in training. So what we're looking at, I've just realised, hold on one second.
You get rid of the Lloyd Kelly.
Get him out, man. You've got 20 million in the bank. Okay, go on.
Well, as Chris prides himself on getting this right, again, I'm going to hand over to Chris to lead us off, and I will buzz in if I need to, Chris. That's the only thing.
Go on then, mate. Go on then. Okay, so in between the sticks will be Martin Dubravka.
Dubs.
Yeah. And I might surprise Luke here. So right back, I think will be Kieran Trippier.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Left back will be Lewis Hall.
Yeah.
And you can quote me here, Dals. You can quote me on this. I'm convinced this is going to be the centre back pairing. I think it's going to be Sven Botman on the left and Fabian Schär on the right. I think that'll be no.
I think Byrne will make it. Byrne will make it somehow, and it'll be Botman and Botman and Byrne. Schär on the bench.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
Well, we can fight that one out, Chris.
Yeah, Pete can be the decider. Pete can be the decider on that one. Yeah. So, right centre mid will be Bruno.
Yeah. Where is it? There he is. Go for it.
Yeah. Holding will be Tonali.
Yeah.
And then
we know Joe Linton's not fit, so Joe Linton's not playing.
Yeah. This is the toughie, isn't it? I think I think purely for his legs, I think they'll go for Joe Willock. And obviously his performance as well. Can't forget his performance against Birmingham. I think it's right to throw him in. This front three is nice and easy. I don't think Dazzle does this. The front three will be Gordon on the left, Murphy on the right, and the best striker in Europe, Alexander
Callum
Isak.
Wilson. Oh.
Okay. Anything to add, Daz?
No, happy with that. I would also like to see Barnes back on the bench, maybe if you could make the bench just as an option, and it'd be nice to get him back. But yeah, no, I'll go with that as well. Lewis Miley didn't do enough in the game against Birmingham City, so Joe Willock definitely did take his chance, and he got goals as well. So he deserves his shot, even though he was playing left wing where Gordon is in that game. So, but put him back in midfield and let's see what he can do. And if we need to, we can switch it up. We have Miley and Longstaff there.
Pete, what are you saying?
I'm not sure of the centre back pairing. I think only one of them, because they're both question marks, only one of them will play. I don't think he'll put them both into the starting lineup without Shaw. However, I wouldn't be surprised if we go full on Arsenal and we'd go 3 with the double pivot of Tonali and Bruno, Joe Willock off. I wouldn't be surprised to see this. It fits everything that LB and Luke have just said. Foden with this free reign in here is what destroyed us last time.
Yeah, he's a problem in the middle.
Pivot in there. Let's have Tonali tracking, or let's have either Burn or Shaw, whichever side it comes out on, being the third guy in there and keeping it tight.
Pete, you could argue as well. Could you if Ben or Botman aren't back, could you see Emil Kraft play where Shaw is, put Shaw in the middle, and then obviously Shaw pushes forward, doesn't he, as that extra defensive mid, and then obviously Bruno or Tonali go forward? We did see that, didn't we?
That would be the natural thing if one of those two aren't fit. But ideally, we'd play that formation with those two, because for me, Botman has to be in the centre. Shaw isn't the same in the centre. He needs to be on the right-hand side. As we saw, he's the guy that can come out and challenge that person that brings out the space, and he can get forward.
Go on an adventure.
Yeah. And he can do that. And look, we know by playing this way, if that sucks in Man City, that we've got these boys on the counter, and with their pace and their ability in the final third, Man City do give up opportunities. I think, well, LB, Luke, you'd be honest and admit that you do give up opportunities.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I think we've got the forward line to exploit it. We've got the work rate. Bruno has ran more than any player in the Premier League this season. We know he'll run all day for you. We know Sandro Tonali's recoveries will do the business there. And the key will be exactly what these boys said, is to stop Foden. So for me, if I'm Eddie Howe, I'm looking at what we did to Arsenal. With that, we stopped Odegaard playing. I know Odegaard had that one chance, but other than that, he was never in the game, and he ended up getting dragged off the back of that. And I think if you are going to play that way, I think that's what Newcastle need to do to be able to stop Man City and then hit on the break. That would be my go-to. But if he doesn't do that, then the formation, the setup that you've got previously, Chris, I'd go with that, albeit a discussion around the centre-backs. But that's how I would see it. But what are you boys thinking? LB, Luke, what do you think about if we did set up like that?
We're in for a long day.
I have no idea anymore.
No question about that. We're in for a long afternoon.
Yeah. That's for me, that's the formation.
I think the only thing you're forgetting is, though, if you do play Trippier and you're kind of utilising kind of the wing backs to take on kind of when you're in possession, you're completely forgetting the fact that Josko 9 times out of 10 overlaps, and is a problem himself.
Yeah.
So whether you're playing 5 at the back with that in mind, I just think that, is there enough there to occupy kind of the Savinho folding in the space and then Vardiol overlapping? If Shah is the one that is going to bomb forward, kind of to assist in the midfield.
Quite possibly. I mean, that would then become a decision for Trippier or Livramento. So if you're looking at pace and that ability to get back, then yeah, I would probably match that up because Gavardo is there. However, in the return fixture when we drew 1-1 at St James's Park,
Gavardo, we had Gundogan man in the midfield. He was lost.
To be fair, I thought Trippier had a really good game. Apart from the goal that you scored with Grealish, which took a little bit of a lucky bounce into his path, and then he goes on to score. Other than that, I
Vardiol who scored, no?
but he came into his path and then he played the ball to Vardiol. But other than that, I thought Trippier had a really good game, and I think he is someone that can have a good game there. But that's how I would do it. But if not, I think it'll be how Chris mentioned it. We'll be at the centre back. But that's.
I think it's going to be an interesting game. I think Martin made a good point. Obviously, the Carabao Cup final run-up previously, there was a dip in form from years. Will that be in the back of your mind? Not used, but Eddie, how will he be like, we've got players returning from injury. We don't want to risk it. I know these are hypothetical situations. We've got nothing to lose now. We will just have our same kind of rotation of players throughout the rest of this season. I think there's a lot on it for both sides because whoever wins this gets back into the top 4, dependent on Chelsea's result. But they've got Brighton on the Friday, so obviously the momentum of that game is going to play into this as well. If Brighton win that, then whoever wins this goes into the 4th place. There's a lot riding on it. And, like I said, Eddie Howe will probably have in the back of his mind minimising injuries up until the Carabao Cup. Because if you play this and you pull up injured with Tonali or Guimaraes or Isak, for example, long term, you'll be like calling the season off already. So there's a lot to play on it, I think, for both sides. And I think the pressure's off us now, to be honest. I think we've had that many bozos this season. We're just expecting the worst.
Yeah.
So.
Any final thoughts, boys? LB, Daz, Chris, before I take it off?
No, bring it on.
It's going to be an interesting one. Let's see.
You won't see me on Saturday evening if you win. I will not be replying to anything from you guys.
We'll see you in the chat, Luke.
No. My phone will be off.
Questions, boys. A couple of questions, and then we'll get predictions and wrap up. So, a couple of Man City related questions for you boys. So we can get to them, I think.
Yes. Right, let's go to this one from Bradley. He says, "Are Man City having a hiccup or in transition?"
I don't think it's either. Hiccups suggest that it's going to be fixed like pretty quick, innit? It's not. And transition, we're not transitioning into anything because we've got nothing to transition into. It's just a bad season. Next season will probably be our transition year when we buy all the new players and we transition into the new team. I think it's just a chalk. We just chalk it off, really.
This one from Mika. If Newcastle get Champions League, which 5 players are you signing? Wirtz, Bastoni. What's your other answers?
Shulman, Rodrigo. Bring it on, man. You'll be there one day with us.
Rogers, why not? Let's go. Let's go.
Grealish, McAtee.
Yeah, I think we'd look at McAtee.
Oscar Bob.
I think if you were genuinely looking at moving on McAtee, I think he's already been linked with us in January.
Whenever Oscar Bob transfer rumours come out, This Is England shop scene comes to mind for me. If they get your hands off him now, so I cannot let that guy go. But no, I think McAtee's one who's going to go in the summer. I think he hasn't performed when he's had his chance, and he's what now, 22, 21. I think if he was going to have done it, he's had a few loan spells where he's looked like he's been the key player in a relegation side, let's be honest. But I think now he hasn't. I think other players who have come in at the same time, Nico O'Reilly, Mbama, even when he was on against Salford, performed. I think there's other players who have raised eyebrows to Pep more than James McAtee has. He's looked non-existent when he's come on in patches. And I think the big eye-opener was when he came on against Feyenoord, and then all of a sudden we concede 3 goals. Just no game management from the youngsters.
Right, let's go to another one here from the Clonard. He asks, question for the City lads, if you could have Isak or Haaland, who are you taking?
No, Haaland, obviously, every day of the week.
Haaland, man.
I know you guys like to do this thing where you go, but if what about outside the box? Well, he's the only player in the top 50 Champions League scorers of all time to have a goal per game ratio of more than a goal.
Well, it's actually just over 1, isn't it? I think
it's over 1. He's the only player that includes Messi, Ronaldo, Benzema,
and he's 2 off Thierry Henry, people.
All the strikers, the top 50 goal scorers of all time in the Champions League. He's the only one out of the top 50 with a goal ratio of 1 goal per game.
And he's the quickest to reach 250 career goals, and that's the likes of.
I know you guys like to do the thing about he can run around and he's touching.
Well, we're clipping this, LB. It's already
he's just a clinical monster. I think we've got the best striker in the world.
Isak's top quality, though. He is top quality.
I think Isak's probably his second best in the world.
Don't just because we've both said Haaland start going, but he is good though. Like we acknowledge he's good, but Haaland is just a bit more.
He's a machine. He's a goal machine.
He's a goal machine.
Isak is there.
A goal machine.
I think Isak is top 3 strikers in the Premier League, but I just think Haaland is echelons above everyone.
Okay.
And he's born on the same day as me, so I have to be biased. And he's 2 years younger than me, so I realise I'm never going to achieve anything in life. Now I know that. So, a bit depressing.
Still grow the hair. Good. Right. Freuden asks, and you kind of answered this already with your team selection, but do you think Pep will save any players for Real Madrid?
You could argue De Bruyne, but I probably wouldn't start De Bruyne at Bernabeu anyway. But yeah, I think maybe De Bruyne might not start on Saturday, but he's not in my team. He's not in Luke's team anyway. So it's not even like we're saving him. It's just I wouldn't start him against Newcastle.
Someone's put in the chat a minute ago. I can't see it now, but would Stones be rested? Would he play against Real Madrid, Newcastle, and Real Madrid?
It's a shout. It is a good shout, but I mean it's a good shout. But that means we've got to watch Gundogan or Kovacic in midfield. So
I need it.
We don't.
We want it. I'd rather play with 10 men.
We need Gundo in that midfield.
I would rather have Martin in midfield.
You only say that because he ain't in. That's the only reason you say it.
That's a compliment. If you're getting paid 150 grand a week.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, true. Yeah, very true.
I think I could do a job for 30 seconds before my ACL goes again.
Right, well, let's go to this one from Johnny Tune for Life. Martin was probably, I could see Martin being a bit of a historian, so he could fill in this one. But he asked, how did City become known as the Citizens, and what is the story behind it, if any?
No idea.
just stuck.
I don't know anyone that calls City the Citizens apart from City themselves. And then, like, I literally, if someone said to me, "All right, Citizen," I'd be like, I'd just cringe.
I don't think it's not a common thing anyone in the ground would say.
I've never ever heard any City fan in person say anything that Citizens. No one's ever said that.
Just City normally. City, all the Blues.
Citizens, nah.
And I think that's more
do it with a Y now as well, which is even worse.
I think it's more a foreign thing than it is us.
Yeah.
It's all about the merch, man. It's all about the merch.
Yeah, we've got.
Yeah, you've got those zip ups, haven't you? The zip ups with Citizens on the back with the Y.
Oh God, don't ever show me one of them.
Yeah,
we know about the merch. We've had 5 years worth released this season alone.
Arsenal are the worst, man. Every day I go on Twitter.
Yeah,
something new.
Yeah. They sell more merch than they do fucking tickets. Well, not even tickets. Probably. What's one thing that? Well, you get my gist. They're just embarrassing, man.
Even Deji Spurs accidentally bought an Arsenal jacket. They're
Right.
plentiful now at this stage.
That did look
But,
Yeah.
It did. It did.
the Claudet asks, question for LB, Luke and Martin. Do you think Pep will walk away at the end of the season? And do you see any points deduction for City at the end of the season?
No.
No.
To
No
both.
to both.
Yeah, I think probably not to both, but you don't know on the second.
I think the one thing that we're going to get from the 115 is non-compliance, if that's what he's referring to. Non-compliance, and it's just going to be a big fine slapped on us. Because that's all they can get us with.
I don't think the thing is, like, no one obviously knows, right? But at the same time, you can only go off the available evidence, right? And they've just spent £175 million. They've spent 400 million pound on a new stand. Like, would a club that thought they was getting kicked out of the league do that? Would a club give Haaland a 10-year contract if they thought they were getting kicked out of the league?
It's not even that, though. I think from the leaks that we had with all the stuff about the APT and the 115 case and ending that were leaked out of kind of Premier League executives that were Arsenal stakeholders or whatnot, I think if there was any bad news regarding this case, you would have seen it slowly leaked and seeped out. But because you haven't,
I just think that, like, I remember Stefan Boss, and you probably know Stefan. He goes on TalkSport. He said a lot that the arena in which they are trying this case is not appropriate. I.e., they're trying to prove that we've committed fraud of the highest scale, and are a couple of solicitors in an arbitration hearing really going to do that? Highly unlikely. Like, this is something that should be done in a fucking high court or something. You know what I mean? Not. So I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they'll do it, man. They've got to prove it. They've got to prove that all these top guys that run countries and shit frauded.
But the thing that all came around from this was that Lewis Pinto leaking emails, which I know can be used in a court of law because it's the whistleblower stuff and things like that. But he's disappeared very quietly when he said he had a bombshell that would ruin this case, and nothing was ever shown of it. So, and I think he's back on the verge of going to prison. So, probably for the best. The rat.
Yeah, I don't see anything happening with it. I haven't for a while.
But it benefits you. Whatever comes out of this, I think it benefits you for the long term as well. I've said that to you how many times, Pete, when we've had discussions about it. I think in the long term, the more aspirational you get, the more you will see the lessons learned from City and what is going to come your way. Because I've always said it to you, this is going to come your way after us. We're the example piece now, and yous are going to be the example piece after us, because yous are probably in a richer state than we are in terms of the money that you could potentially have.
Yeah, and this is why you're looking at what Man City are doing, and we've had Newcastle fans saying, "Oh, why don't we just go for it and take the points deduction and this, that, and the other?" Like, we're looking at what's happening with Man City and the way Premier League are trying to go at them. This is why Newcastle United are towing the line. This is why we're playing it by the book. So we're growing steadily, but when we get there, we know at that point.
I just think if you'd have had the takeover at the time we had, then we would be in a completely different boat. Yeah. We would both be the example pieces, and the rules were made because of what we did.
Yeah,
Liverpool, United, Arsenal, they're American, and I'm going to say it now, and it might sound xenophobic, but it's American owners who don't want to spend their own money. They want to be self-sufficient, and they want to rely on what the club can bring in to spend that. Whereas clubs like ourselves, and Nottingham Forest is a good example, they want to invest heavily. But because we want to invest heavily for the right reasons, we want to make it, a dynasty and success on the pitch. But because these other clubs have relied for so long on their notoriety and their, global success, they don't want to look bad to their fans because they're not spending as much as other clubs. That is what all this has come around for. And that's what will continue.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that's pretty much it for the questions. A lot of the rest of them we covered kind of as we've been speaking, so there's no point really going over again.
Boys, let's get to predictions. I'm going to put my prediction out nice and early. I think there's going to be goals in this game. And I don't know whether I'm being negative here, but I'm going to go 2-2.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go 2-2. I think it might be a draw, but I think there's going to be goals in this game. We'll go up, we'll go down and then up. So we'll go Luke, Daz, Chris, and then we'll end up on LB. Go on, Luke.
I'm going to say 2-1 City.
Okay, 2-1 City. Daz?
1-1 Newcastle. 1-1 Newcastle.
Draw as well. Okay.
1-1.
Interesting. Go on, Chris.
Come back, Keith Roll. All is forgiven.
He didn't do anything, Keith. By the way.
No, I'm going to say 2-1 Newcastle.
Okay.
2-1 Newcastle.
No, he's got 2-1 Newcastle.
Nah, I can't be the only one here, LB. Come on.
I can't do it, bro. I'm depressed. I don't think we'll beat Newcastle. I don't think we'll beat Real Madrid. I don't think we'll beat Liverpool. I don't think we'll beat Spurs.
Are they your next 4 games?
Spurs.
Yeah.
You don't think you'll beat Spurs?
We'll beat Plymouth Argyle at home.
No. Spurs could be in relegation form, which they are.
And you
They
won't
could
beat
be.
Spurs. Everybody's beating Spurs.
No, they could be in the bottom 3 with 0 points,
Tell them, Luke.
and they will still beat us.
Not just beat us, fucking smack us.
Is
the game.
Is this at the top of the Hotspur? Is this
It's
at
at
this?
Spurs. It's at Spurs, yeah. Remember, they've already done
But
us
this-
4-0 early in the season.
But this we are the club that saves most managers. We will probably turn it around for Ange. How many times did we turn it around for Ollie in that 2-1 defeat? Or was it 3-1? I can't remember now. It was that long ago. But you get my point. Clubs just turn up against us. I don't know what it is.
For sure. But look, predictions are out there, boys. It's out there. The tactics board's out there. We'll be keeping an eye on that when the teams drop on Saturday. But look, massive thanks to you boys coming and joining us. Obviously, Marty from the Mancunian Way initially, LB tops up as always, and of course City Luke TV. Make sure you go and subscribe to their channels. Both are flying as well as Mancunian Way as well. Give them a watch, and if you've not watched any of LB's watch-alongs, give his watch-alongs a watch, because always good entertainment in there, and good reactions as always. But boys, thank you for joining us.
Anytime.
We all really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Nice one. Let's
Take care,
play
boys.
out with the best striker in the Premier League. Night, everyone.
Haaland.
Sir.